Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Again, always apologies for the length of time between a video and video. It's been like a month or two. Again, apologies for that. This is part 6 of our webbing series. I would say the end of our canonical part of the series itself. After this episode, eventually when I get around to doing that, obviously, and when I get access to the kit, we will look at the more unknown kits and unknown equipments, I should say, of the British Army. That will be in the future. So like 1914 pattern, the Trials 72 pat, and things of that nature. And I will also try and look at, let's say, 1903 and other little bits here and there. But as a general thing, the canonical parts as the general main issue equipments throughout from the Great War up until the late 1980s. We will end with this one. So again, this is part 6. We're looking at 1958 pattern as it was seen in the early, basically throughout the sort of post 1970s kind of era, well up until the end of the Cold War. So let's get into that. Okay, so here is the 58 pattern web equipment, obviously with some additional extras. We'll go through those in a second, but these aren't the main part of the video. So, starting from the top, we have the Mark IV, Mark V still helmet. Obviously, still an issue up until the mid-80s when it was replaced by the Mark VI that's up there. So this again, this has been seen on the channel before. Again, not the subject of this video. That's just the basis. This is sort of set up on a sort of exercise in, say, the Falklands, or even up into Lionheart, really, kind of set up. Some little minor things will change, but as a rough thing, roughly between 82 and 84, this is sort of base. Excuse me for the coughing as well. So he's got a windproof smock on. This one is badged up as lieutenant, but that's, again, not really part of the video. He is carrying, however, the PRC 349 radio of the Klansman series of radio equipment. This is being carried on its chest rig, which basically a strap goes over the back, over the arm, wraps around the side here, and then comes around the back. So it comes over the shoulder, as you can see here, round the back, and then fastens with a quick release system on the front here, so it can be quickly removed if in need. And obviously there's all the function switches, etc. So to turn it on, basically switch, you've got all the different functions on there. Excuse me. Oh, ticking a lot today. It's aerial, which has been tucked away through the loop on the yoke, as you can see there, tucks away out the way there, and the actual wire for the actual headset has been looped round the back under the arm, and then it's push the talk button is here, and the headset is here, which is the later style seen in the early to mid 80s, going through until the 90s, obviously, when obviously you see things like Bowman being introduced in the 90s. Excuse me. Again, that's not the main thing, but it kind of accompanies this quite nicely. So going to the actual equipment itself, we have the third issue 58 pattern mag pouches. They can carry up to 3, maybe even 4 at a tight fit SLR magazines. Obviously later they could fit multiple magazines for the L85A1, the AC80. Obviously, but in still this configuration, still for the SLR, so as the SLR bayonet. Obviously the pouch itself. The difference between these pouches, so the third issue and the second and first, is these are slanted on the belt to make it more comfortable for the wearer when kneeling. It's basically the, unlike on, say, the first pattern, which is like here, I'll show you here, they sit straight on the belt. On the third issue, they're canted. So they sit more, basically more diagonal on the body, which obviously, when attached to the poncho roll, pulls it even more to the side, allowing for better movement when kneeling, crouching, etc. So that's those. Obviously, as I said, with the bayonet, On the third issue, the Energa pouch is still being used, or still being put on to the pouches. This will be removed in the sort of the late fourth issue, which is seen very late in the 80s. But again, this is still being put onto the pouches. Not sure why exactly, but again, troops are still using for any sorts of things. Knife, fork, spoon, you name it, it went in it. Excuse me. So, spinning it round, I'll spin round here. Just move the arm out of the way. And I'll move it out of the way that way. We see the water bottle. So the water bottle is slightly different. Well, the water bottle pouch is slightly different to the one seen in the first and second issue stuff. Mainly the second issue is when the water bottle came out. But we have a buckle closure rather than a twist lock like you see on the water bottles like this. This is a twist lock. As I said again, this is the buckle system. The water bottle is slightly different as well. It's black plastic, although the early ones were green, and obviously they do cross sections. You do see the early ones still being used at this time as well, because they were quite liked, because the twist lock was a lot easier than dealing with the buckle. It's just a bit of a nightmare. However, these were wider, and you do see a lot of, say, within, say, the parachute regiment and other regiments, depending on what the company or even battalion level allowed. That guys could swap out, say, their kidney pouches for multiple water bottle pouches, because these were a lot more easier to get. You could get a lot on. A mess tin could easily fit in here, or one half of a mess tin, the small one anyway. And you can get a lot of these on, and they're much more secure than, say, the quick release tabs on the kidney pouches. So that's this side. So that's the water bottle. Going back round to the rear, we see two poncho rolls. Just the way it's on the mannequin, it does sit a bit low, so apologies for that. It's a bit dark down here, but you have one poncho roll here, or bum roll, whatever you want to make it be called. This is carrying the poncho itself, this one, and this one up here is carrying the NBC kit, so the nuclear, biological, and chemical kit. Basically putting a poncho roll to make it easy to deploy, either by pulling the release tabs on the bottom, or just pulling it straight out of it here. So down below, obviously you have the kidney pouches. It is secured up on here to the upper rings of the ammunition pouches. Again, it's more things to carry. Along with this, you'll probably be carrying your over boots, but I haven't added this to this just because of the weight wise. But normally you'll be carrying your over boots for your NBC kit, and also maybe an IPK as well. And normally all of this would be bungeed in, but just for general purposes, I'm just showing what the general kit looks like. So kidney pouches below. The changes from, say, the first and second issue to these, the main thing is the addition of extra fastening points, which secure the pouches up here. These ones haven't got it on, but I don't know why any of my third issue pouches are, which is really, really annoying. And basically up here there'd be an extra securing point, so to keep it more up against the body and onto the actual equipment, rather than sagging away like they are doing now. Sorry I can't show you, but I might try and add in a picture of a pair thing in. I've been looking around for a couple of hours to try and find it, so I've just had to go. I'll just put these on. So, but these were third issue. These are third issue, but they've been adapted for some reason, which is a shame. Those have been removed, so that's a shame. But yeah, standard third issue kidney pouches though. As I said again, extra securing points to then, and obviously the stiffeners have been removed. They were removed on the second pattern, and then that change was kept on the third as well. Excuse me. I said poncho roll below for your poncho itself, and then we have a major difference. So in the early issue, I believe I showed the early respirator bag. I can't actually remember. I might have done. I should have done, I think. If not, then that's something else we could look into. This is the only hold on from the Trials 72 pattern nylon equipment. I think 72 pattern, yeah. Nylon equipment that was kept. So which is the respirator bag or resi bag or whatever you may, or whatever you may call it, gas mask bag, but it's a respirator bag. So in here, open this up, you have your NBC inner and outer gloves, your actual face piece itself, the mask, the canister will be attached to it. This one isn't at the moment. The spare canister will be kept in a small pocket at the side. You will have your DPK 1 and 2, which would be etc. And then basically your decontamination stuff, your Fuller's Earth, your block band rub stuff, basically your combi pens, which is atropine in like small, almost like adrenaline pens you see for people who have like who suffer from anaphylactic shock, say for a peanut allergy. They're basically like that. They you get 3 of them. They're basically your antidote if you get basically if you come in contact with nerve agent or whatever it may be, nastiness in the air from a war against the Soviets. So that's that. Very good bit of kit, and seen well into the 90s until it was replaced by the PLCE and replacement for it, which is a more sort of cotton nylon bag in olive green and DPM. And it's basically the same design really, just with a few little added-ons bits, but it's basically the same. But it's just a different fastening system to the back. Very good design though. And then obviously you have the whip cord here, so it can be worn around the chest as well. It has basically a slot that you could goes through the belt. The belt of the 58 pattern goes through, so it could be used for that. It has a strap that can be put around the waist, or it can be put over the shoulder, or it can be put over the neck and then in front into the ready position. All different ways of wearing it. Very, very good bit of kit. So basically, all in all, that is the 58 pattern as of the sort of mid to late 80s, really, or 80s, all the way through the 80s, I should say. Quite a sort of shortish video in some sort of ways, but it's not really much to talk about in that sort of respect. There were changes, differences, the difference of design, the difference add-on like this, or the sort of more customization of it, of guys getting 2 poncho rolls and then putting an NBC kit in one and not in the other, and it's different mixes and matches you see throughout the 80s. I think a great example of it is absolutely watching the Lionheart exercise. So 1984 exercise Lionheart, basically the largest British Army exercise since the Second World War, was taking place in Germany. Massive manoeuvres of moving hundreds of thousands of British troops, of the regulars, reserves and the TA from the UK into Germany to try and reinforce the British Army of the Rhine. So it's a really, really good thing on that part. If you're seeing this and this in the background, that'll be a subject for a later video. I got basically gifted a fair amount of interesting memorabilia and artifacts from a friend of mine who served in Northern Ireland, and I will get to those in a later video. So I haven't converted to some ideals. They're just items that have been added to the collection, which are very, very interesting, and honestly such a kind gift from a very good friend. So that's basically it for this, and we'll cut back to me in the future. Oh, actually, one thing I did forget to add, apologies for that, is the yoke itself. So the yoke is slightly different. It has the straps added, so for the large pack being worn, it doesn't slip off the shoulders, but you only really seen the large pack being used in training at this period, and even that maybe just used for transit. It's appalling, as I said in the last video. But apart from that, most of the yoke is still the same. The belt is roughly still the same. There's some minor differences between the early stuff and later stuff, but there's not really much. Just wanted to add that, and thank you very much. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Again, apologies for the delay, as it always has been. I've had some very nice offers actually from some very good people who've offered to help with some of the editing, so really big props out to them. I'll probably do an actual video, and I'll probably doing a live stream as well, somewhere, another one. When I'm filming this, I'll probably be doing a live stream tomorrow, so that will be the 20th. I think the 20th is tomorrow. So there'll be a live stream on the 20th. Obviously, this video probably would not come out on the 20th, but just one of those things. I'm filming this on the 19th, so it just gives you a perspective of when I'm actually getting around to doing things. But yeah, it's one of those things. So really appreciate it. I hope to have a video of some things I saw in Malta, because I went to Malta a couple of weeks ago. That was amazing. It was fantastic. Brilliant and gorgeous weather, and then to come back to what it's been nice today, don't get me wrong, it's been actually quite nice today, but it's been a bit humid and it's been raining like hell for the past week or two, so it's been fun But anyway, beside that, I really appreciate you watching this video again, and thank you for sticking around for my temperamental schedule. But yeah, really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.